You're sitting in a crowded nightclub in the late 1940s. The air is thick with cigarette smoke. Glasses clink softly in the dim light. Somewhere in the background, a piano player taps out a slow melody while people talk, laugh, and barely pay attention to the small stage in the corner. Then a man walks onto that stage. He doesn't rush. He doesn't seem nervous. In fact, he looks almost too relaxed, like someone who wandered in from the street and decided to sing for fun. That man was Dean Martin. But here's the thing most people don't realize. There was a moment earlier in his life, a single piece of unexpected advice, that changed everything about the way he performed. And without that advice, the world might never have known the legendary Dean Martin we remember today. So let me ask you something right now. Have you ever received a piece of advice that completely changed your life? Maybe it came from someone you didn't expect. Maybe it was just a few simple words. But somehow, it shifted everything. That's exactly what happened to Dean Martin. Long before the bright lights, the sold-out shows, and the legendary performances, Dean Martin was just another struggling singer trying to find his place in the entertainment world. He was born as Dino Paul Crescetti in Steubenville, Ohio. His early life wasn't glamorous. In fact, it was far from it. He worked odd jobs. He boxed. He dealt cards in illegal casinos. And like many young men with big dreams, he was simply trying to figure out what his future might look like. Music eventually became his escape. When he first started singing in clubs, though, something felt off. Technically, he had a good voice. Actually, more than good. Warm, smooth, effortless. But audiences didn't always react the way performers hoped they will. Sometimes they listened politely. Sometimes they talked through his songs. Sometimes they barely noticed him at all. Imagine standing on stage, pouring your heart into a performance, and watching people sip drinks and carry on conversations like your background music. Would you keep going? Or would you start questioning everything? Dean Martin kept going, night after night, club after club, city after city. But inside, something was bothering him. He was working hard, really hard, yet he wasn't standing out. He wasn't unforgettable. Then one night, something unusual happened. After a performance, someone approached him backstage. It wasn't a famous producer. It wasn't a big music executive. It wasn't even someone Dean Martin expected to listen to. But that person gave him a simple piece of advice. Advice that sounded almost too simple. The advice was this: stop trying so hard. Think about that for a second. Most performers are told the opposite. Work harder, sing louder, push more emotion, show more passion. But this person looked at Dean Martin and said something completely different. You sound great, but you're trying too hard. Just relax. Be yourself. At first, Dean Martin didn't know what to think. How could trying less possibly make him better? But the comment stuck in his mind. Have you ever had someone say something to you that seemed small at the time, but you kept thinking about it days later? That's exactly what happened. Dean Martin started watching himself perform. He noticed the tension in his body, the way he pushed certain notes, the way he focused so hard on impressing the audience, so he decided to experiment. The next time he walked on stage, he tried something different. Instead of trying to impress everyone, he simply relaxed. He leaned into the microphone. He let the notes flow naturally. He sang like he was singing for friends rather than strangers. Something incredible happened. The room changed. People stopped talking. Heads turned. Suddenly, his voice felt smoother, warmer, more intimate, and audiences felt it. That relaxed style, the casual charm, the effortless delivery, became Dean Martin's signature. It made people feel like they were sitting in a living room with a friend who just happened to have one of the most beautiful voices in the world. Soon, people began to notice him. Really notice him. Club owners started inviting him back. Audiences started requesting his songs, and the quiet singer who once struggled to be heard was slowly becoming a star. But the story doesn't stop there. Because a few years later, another major turning point arrived. Dean Martin teamed up with comedian Jerry Lewis. Their partnership became one of the most successful comedy duos in entertainment history. The calm, cool charm of Dean Martin balanced perfectly with Jerry Lewis's wild, energetic comedy. Audiences loved the contrast. One was relaxed and smooth. The other was chaotic and unpredictable. Together they created magic. Nightclubs packed with people, movies, radio shows, television appearances. The duo exploded in popularity almost overnight. But even during the height of that success, Dean Martin kept something close to his heart. That simple advice: stop trying so hard. Because it reminded him of something important. Authenticity beats perfection. People connect with what feels real. Let me ask you another question. When you watch your favorite singer, actor, or creator, what draws you to them the most? Is it flawless technique, or is it the feeling that they're genuine? For Dean Martin, it was always the latter. Even when he performed in huge venues in cities like Las Vegas, he kept that relaxed presence. He looked comfortable, unbothered, like a man simply enjoying music and conversation with friends, and audiences loved it. In fact, that effortless style eventually made him one of the most beloved entertainers in the world. He recorded hit songs, he starred in films, he became a central figure in the legendary group known as the Rat Pack, alongside icons like Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. But even surrounded by enormous fame, Dean Martin never lost that relaxed spirit. If anything, it became stronger. His performances felt like conversations, his voice wrapped around melodies like warm velvet, and people around the world felt like they knew him personally, all because of one unexpected piece of advice. Think about how strange life can be sometimes. One small comment, one moment after a show, one unexpected voice saying something simple, and suddenly the direction of someone's life changes forever. What if Dean Martin had ignored that advice? What if he kept trying to force his performances? Would he still have become a legend? Maybe. Maybe not. But the Dean Martin we remember today, the cool, smooth, relaxed entertainer, might never have existed. And that makes you wonder about something, doesn't it? How many life-changing pieces of advice do we hear and ignore? Maybe the right words have already come into your life. Maybe someone once told you something that seemed small but actually carried huge meaning. So here's something to think about tonight. What advice have you received that stuck with you? Was it from a teacher, a friend, a parent, or maybe even a stranger? Sometimes the most powerful guidance doesn't come from experts. It comes from someone who simply sees you clearly for a moment, just like that person did with Dean Martin. And look what happened afterward. A shy young singer from Ohio became one of the most recognizable entertainers in the world. Millions of fans, timeless music, a legacy that still lives decades later. All because someone said, relax, just be yourself. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever received advice that completely changed your life? Or is there someone whose words you'll never forget? Tell us your story in the comments below, because your experience might inspire someone else watching this video right now. And if you enjoy discovering the hidden stories behind legendary entertainers like Dean Martin, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. Also, don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who loves classic music and Hollywood history. Think about the moment when Dean Martin first stepped onto those stages after hearing that simple advice. Nothing about the room had changed. The same smoky clubs, the same distracted crowds, the same piano quietly playing in the corner. The only thing that changed was him. Instead of fighting for attention, he invited people into the music. Instead of pushing every note, he let the song breathe. And somehow that calm confidence made audiences lean in closer. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes success isn't about becoming someone new. Sometimes it's about removing the pressure and allowing your true self to shine. So here's one last question for you. If you stopped trying to impress everyone and simply became yourself, what might change in your life today? Think about it. And I'll see you in the next story.